Cool, and I'll begin. Let's begin as you do that. So, guys, welcome to the Small Business Workshop Series, Digital Marketing for Entrepreneurs. And this is hosted by the Entrepreneurship Hub of Trinidad and Tobago. So, I know some of you guys are asking, what is the eHub? What is the Entrepreneurship Hub? What is all that about? Right. Well, you could find us at ehubtc.org. But since you are here, I'm going to give you some information right now about our startings. So back in 2020, it was a collaboration between the US Embassy, Port of Spain, and some of the program alumni, meaning persons who benefited from some of their programs, decided to do a little thing for entrepreneurs. And we thought the best way to do so was through entrepreneurship and an entrepreneurship hub, of course. So the vision of the hub was to promote collaboration, consensus building, and promoting best practices for all businesses, or especially micro entrepreneurs, and to improve the ease of business doing business here in Trinidad. So, for example, let's say Kimberly alone might have trouble with the banks. However, if the eHub, which are now over 2,000 members strong, supported by the US Embassy, local, regional, foreign chambers of commerce, the regional corporations, collaborated with the banks of Trinidad and Tobago to ensure banking and finance is as least restrictive as possible, so that all the major banks agree to adopt the processes set out in a perhaps entrepreneurial guideline to help entrepreneurs open banks as easily as possible. And we'll note this document will feature the best practice to be the best worldwide in terms of how to access banking. But you can't do that alone, so you do it as a team, and that is the hope of the Entrepreneurship Hub. And of course, the eHub, our intent is to leverage local and foreign resources to solve the problems of micro entrepreneurs and to work alongside the key stakeholders in the entrepreneurial landscape to achieve this. And for you to know all the resources that are available to you. In a sense, we found that a lot of chambers kind of focus on larger entities, larger businesses, but there's a room for us to focus on micro entrepreneurs, meaning if you are making less than $1 million a year in annual revenue and have less than 5 employees, then you are a micro entrepreneur. And our hope is to push you from where you are into the next phase, that small business. And in this path, we have met many resources that all want well for us micro entrepreneurs. And we did some cool projects, like mapping social entrepreneurial landscape, facilitating the Academy of Women Entrepreneurs, financial literacy workshops, export readiness workshops, small business workshop series, like what you're part of now. And very, very cool, the Entrepreneurship Forum, which took place in 2024 and 2025 at the Central Bank Auditorium. This is where we bring all the key business support organizations in Trinidad and Tobago in one space, so we, the micro entrepreneurs, can appreciate all the resources that are available to us. It's really one of the main benefits I really like it for is that last year, for example, we had Nedco on stage and they would say, okay, you're a micro entrepreneur. These are the programs that actually there for you right now or not, right? And then you have the micro entrepreneurs in the room to get up and say, hey, I went for that program and I had this challenge. So you now know, I don't look out for that. Or someone else says, oh, yes, I did go to this bank and I got through and I got this loan for this amount of money and it was easy. So you know, okay, this has been validated by your peers as a very excellent path forward. Also, very key at the forum is that we hear from entrepreneurs who are more advanced than us. So last year we had last year, Ecliffe Eli, who told us about his path and his progress and how he came to be past that micro entrepreneur phase, and Label House as well, who spoke about that. And this year, I hope you save the date on October 14th, we would have the Entrepreneurship Forum again, right? And it would not Larry Hawaii was last year, keynote address, but this year we are going to have the Ministry of Trade, right? Mr. Sasha, right? Kama, but we know him as Sasha Cosmetics, right? And he loves to share his story. He wants us to know and benefit and understand all these things that we need to do to get as big as Sasha. Well, just one step at a time. We take it from micro into mean. But here's some really, really good nuggets of information. And we had the privilege of meeting him at the embassy recently, and he committed to come to our forum, and that he did. Right. So we are looking to have a really good session with him. So start pooling your questions, right? And I hope to see you guys at the forum in October 14th. Hope you're writing down October 14th. We haven't in South this time, so we will say that, you only think about North people, right? So, right, so October 14th, screenshot this page. Okay. Cool. All right. Of course, what we always ask for you guys is to join the hub so that your voice could be counted along with ours. When we go to the banks and say, hey, we need credit cards to be accessed a whole lot more easy. And they'll be like, who is you? And I was like, no, 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 not who is me, who is us? We, all 3,000 of us micro entrepreneurs, we all say this is the challenge. This is what we are pushing for. This is the purpose of the hub. All right. So other cool things while I as Young Leaders of the Americas Initiative, why are they important? Is that well, they pick good entrepreneurs from Trinidad and Tobago, right? And they carry them to America, teach them about entrepreneurship, get some good stuff and bring them back, but they get them resources. Resources like the online courses, like free of charge. And they say, hey, take this, go be better. And in turn, we are like, let's go take these resources and share them with more micro entrepreneurs here in Trinidad and Tobago so we all benefit. And this is where what this today is about. We are going in one of those courses and bringing along a local expert to ask them, hey, what they're saying there, I know they're coming from America and they're saying this, but is it relevant in our context? How can we change up what they're saying or to make it sure that it works in our context? Hmm? So if you take this link, let me see if it works here. It will carry you to this page and have one set of information, guys. One set of information, right? All these fundraising concepts. That is all the biggest next question, how to get money. That's gonna help you, right? Right, so that and good for you to know is if you went to the entrepreneurship forum, the Ehub page, right, there are also more resources for you. Right? See grant funding opportunities, other sources of finances, business support, and support. So guys, take advantage of these things. But back to our presentation, right? I want to introduce you to our moderator, right? She is an entrepreneur. She is a wild liar, and she has been supportive of the hub very, very long, right? I'm very, very happy to have her, Mrs. Shereesa Khan. She's a chemist and the founder and managing director of Vortex Sensations Distributions Limited. Thank you, Shereesa. Please take it away and introduce our key
Course.
speaker for
Yeah.
today.
Hi, good morning, everybody. I'm so happy to have you here on this rainy day. Thanks for joining us at the eHub. This is the third session in the Small Business Workshop series. So if you didn't get to join us in the previous ones, don't worry, you didn't miss anything much, but you could go back onto the website. We'll show you how to do it so you can access the previous courses that we've done. But today we're going to focus on digital marketing for entrepreneurs. So it's a topic that's become increasingly important as more businesses use digital platforms to connect customers, build brands, and to grow their businesses. So throughout today's session, we're going to explore three key areas. So the first one is going to be how to create your online brand, develop a digital marketing strategy, and then maximize the digital tools available to you. So we'll be using the three short videos as a starting point for each section. After each video, we'll connect it to our businesses, see how we could relate it back to our businesses here in Trinidad, and then we will ask our lovely guest speaker to elaborate a little bit on it, right? So as with each video, I encourage you to think about your own business. Ask yourself, am I doing this already? Could I be doing this better? how could I apply this to my business? And more importantly, I want you to, this is an interactive session, so please feel free to ask as many questions as you can. We have a great guest speaker today who is here to answer all our questions, Miss Debbie Jollie, right? She's a marketing strategist, a personal branding coach. She provides organizational development assistance. She's an international lecturer and an entrepreneur. So Debbie is passionate about helping entrepreneurs and professionals to strengthen brands, improve online visibility, connect with target audiences, and use digital platforms to create sustainable business opportunities. Before we started, I had the privilege of chatting with Miss Jollie, and guys, she's remarkable. I can't wait for us to really sit her down and ask her a million questions because I have a whole list. So start thinking about your questions already. Right, so we're going to jump right into the course, but I want you to remember that the goal by the end of today's session, we don't want you to just leave with information, but with ideas so that you could actually take it back and apply it to your business. So with that said, I'm going to share my screen. We're going to start with the first video in the course. So let's dive right in. If you can't hear, please feel free to leave in the chat that you can't hear. If you have any questions. Right. Okay, can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Not yet, yes.
No? Sham, could you allow me to share it saying I don't have permission, unfortunately?
1 second.
Thank you.
Shereesa, we can see your screen.
Great. All right. So this is the Wildlife page that Shem was speaking about, and we are in the digital marketing for entrepreneurs course. Right. So this is course 1. Let's begin.
Shereesa, I think
No
you have
audio.
a share with song.
No?
Yeah, I think when you hit and share, yeah, there's a selection to hit share with sound, and that's it.
Okay, hold on. Let me up this as well. That's not coming up. Can you hear it now? Are you hearing it?
Now,
Unfortunately, no.
What? Because it is sharing with sound.
okay, let me try from my end.
Yeah, try from your side and see. Hold on.
Can you guys hear?
Yes. Yes.
There are many reasons why entrepreneurs are starting and running businesses online. The startup costs are relatively low, the potential to reach customers outside of your local area, the flexibility of both time and space, and the ability to design and implement marketing campaigns that help you build a profitable relationship with your customers, who are primarily living in a digital world. In this course, we will cover digital marketing for entrepreneurs. We will discuss practical ways entrepreneurs can develop and maximize marketing for their online businesses. It will cover such topics as personal branding, best practices for website design, keys to developing a digital marketing strategy, and ways to maximize your online marketing using available tools like social media and search engines. This course was written by Christopher Gray. This lesson is creating your online brand. In this lesson, you will learn to understand the key differences between traditional marketing and online marketing. We will talk about the key components of personal branding and why creating a personal brand is important for you and your business. Christopher grew up in deep poverty during a national recession in a single-parent household in Birmingham, Alabama. With limited access to computers and no access to internet at home, but the desire to go to college, he searched for scholarships, ultimately winning $1.3 million to study finance and entrepreneurship at Drexel University. The challenges and rewards of his experience gave him the idea for a mobile app that helps students easily find scholarships for college and helps graduates pay off their student debt when attending US-based institutions. In 2013, he founded Jollie. The company was named in Inc. magazine's top college startups, won Under Armour's Cupid's Cup competition, and won former AOL executive Steve Case's Rise of the Rest competition. Christopher was named Ernst & Young's Entrepreneur of the Year for 2015 for Philadelphia and as one of Forbes' 30 Under 30 for 2016. As Christopher writes, creating your personal and company's online brand is a critical component to any successful digital marketing strategy. That's because your online brand has the power to leave a lasting impression on potential buyers, whether they're ready to buy from you now or in the future. But before we get into how you develop your online brand and infuse it into every part of your business's digital marketing strategy, it's important that we first understand the key differences between traditional marketing and online marketing. According to the American Marketing Association, marketing is the activity, set of institutions, and processes for creating, communicating, delivering, and exchanging offerings that have value for customers, clients, partners, and society at large. Traditional forms of marketing communicate and advertise a company's offerings through newspapers, magazines, telephone books, radio, and TV. But as you're probably well aware, these days, most people aren't spending as much time looking at any of those forms of media as they do looking at their phones, computers, and tablets. So digital marketing is all about adapting those traditional marketing techniques to fit digital channels, such as search engines, websites, social media, email, and mobile apps. Where, Christopher asks, does personal branding fit in? A strong personal brand guides how you market your company on those digital channels. But this doesn't happen by accident. Creating a personal brand requires you to really think about where your personal mission and the mission of your company intersect. Generally, when creating your personal brand, Christopher says that you want to make sure that it is focused. What is the key message that you want to deliver to your audience? if you had to choose one thing, what do you want people to know about you and your company? Consistent. You want to make sure that you're presenting the same message on all channels, online and offline, so that people aren't confused if they interact with your company in more than one place. Trustworthy. Consumers want to buy from brands that they trust. But if they feel that you're trying to force a connection to build that trust, you could damage the relationship between customers and your business. Relatable. Consumers also want to be able to see themselves as part of your brand. So, studying your target customer is necessary to align your mission with their values. And as he mentioned before, all of this can directly influence and enhance how you market and sell your business. For example, when it comes to sales, having a strong and memorable brand helps you stand out from your competitors, build trust among consumers, entice customers to buy from you again in the future, and makes it easy for people to refer your business to their friends. Christopher says that one of the best places to really build and establish your personal brand is on your business's website. When building your website, you'll want to make sure your brand is reflected in things like domain name, which should be easy for customers to remember and associate with your business. Design, including the colors, logos, fonts, and any other visual elements. Content on every page, including your About Us page, contact page, testimonials, reviews, and descriptions for your products or services. Calls to action that tell people how you want them to buy from or engage with your business. When creating your website, it's also important that you're optimizing it to be used and found by your target users with minimal effort. For example, your website needs to be fully functional on desktops and all mobile devices. If it's not optimized for mobile devices, you could lose a lot of potential visitors for your website. In the first quarter of 2021, mobile web traffic accounted for 54.8% of all global web traffic. You'll also want to make sure your website's navigation bar is intuitive and easy for customers to understand. Creativity and using plays on words might regularly be part of your brand identity, but it shouldn't be part of your website's navigation because it might confuse visitors. So, aim for clarity when it comes to navigation. Lastly, Christopher says that if you want potential customers to find your website organically on search engines or without paid ads, then you'll need to also focus on search engine optimization. Search engine optimization, or SEO, is the practice of optimizing your website to be exactly what people are searching for whenever they type a query related to your business into a search engine like Google or Bing. Search engines rank your website for how well they think your website matches the intent and content of the search term, also known as a keyword. To increase your visibility, you need to first figure out what your target audience uses to search for topics related to your business. This is called keyword research. Then you'll want to use those keywords to guide you in creating content that regularly appears on the first page of search engine results, like blog posts, images, videos, infographics, or ebooks, product descriptions for the items you sell. You can also optimize your website for search engines by using keywords in your website's web addresses, also known as URLs, title tags or page titles, alt tags or descriptions of images, meta descriptions, a short description of your page that appears under the link on search engines. With your established online brand and functioning website, your next step is to make sure consumers know about it with a solid digital marketing strategy. For more on this course and to access related resources, visit our website.
All right. So that was a great video, right? A lot of information, a lot to unpack. But I'd like for us to think about it in the sense of what it is really telling us is that your online brand is not just your logo, it's not just color, it's not just how your Instagram page looks, but it's really what people think when they see your business, what you stand for, whether they could trust you, because we spoke about trustworthiness, and whether they could relate to you, right? So I want you to think about something, right? If somebody who's never heard about you or your business before and they went on your Instagram or they went on your website, would they immediately understand your business or what you are trying to sell? I really want you guys to just think about that. Because we might know our businesses from the inside out, but does that mean the customer actually understands what we're trying to convey? Right? Something to think about. So, Miss Jollie, I want to bring you into this. The video talks about having a brand that is focused, consistent, trustworthy, relatable. But from your experience, what does that actually look like for a small entrepreneur or a micro entrepreneur in Trinidad and Tobago trying to build a brand online?
All right. So thank you so much for that question. Hello, everybody. Let me know if you're hearing me okay. Yes, give me a
Yes, loud
thumbs
and clear.
Yeah.
hearing me. All right, wonderful. Just to go back to what you mentioned there in terms of understanding our brands online, I think one of the first things we have to do as entrepreneurs and digital entrepreneurs is to be able to kind of look at our online presence, whether that is your website, your social media pages, the content you put out. You have to look at it from the perspective of the customer, right? The customer is coming to your social handles, your website, and so on. And what are they seeing? What do they understand when they come to your website, right? Website or social media pages and so on. So maybe one of the things you can do if you already have a website and social handles would be to ask a friend, a family member to check out your pages and give you some feedback. What do they think? What do they understand when they come to your pages? What does it convey? Are your products and services very clearly outlined? Is pricing available? Is good descriptions there? Those are the things that you have to kind of begin to look at. As entrepreneurs or digital entrepreneurs, we tend to wear the hat of our expertise, but we're not always marketers. And so it is important to put ourselves in our customers' position, because they are the buyers and they are coming looking for a particular thing. They're looking for a product, they're looking for a service, they're looking for some sort of solution. So if what you are conveying on your digital channels is not clear, right, then the customer wouldn't be clear and then they just move on. So I think that is one of the first things that we have to ask ourselves as persons that are using digital tools, what is the messaging there? And are we conveying things that our customers understand, that make our customers understand our brand? I hope that answers the question there. Yes. And I'm open to any questions.
Yes, you answered my question. Thank you. Guys, if you have any questions for Miss Jollie, please feel free. You can unmute, you can raise your hands, you can drop it in the chat. But if we don't have any questions, you'll understand everything that the video was trying to convey. We can move on to the second video. Shem, if you like to share again. Guys, you're hearing, right? Because I seen a lot of people saying they're not hearing in the chat.
It might have been a little low
Yeah,
if
yeah.
it could be raised a little bit. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, going to the second video, guys.
Welcome back to Digital Marketing for Entrepreneurs. This course covers practical ways entrepreneurs can develop and maximize digital marketing for their online businesses. We look at personal branding, best practices for website design, keys to developing a digital marketing strategy, and how best to maximize your online marketing using available tools such as social media and search engines. This lesson is Developing a Digital Marketing Strategy. In this lesson, Christopher focuses on how you can not only find and target your ideal customers online, but also convert them into buyers using a variety of digital marketing strategies. He outlines the steps to take when creating a digital marketing strategy and what to do and not to do when building the right digital marketing strategy for your business. This course was written by Christopher Gray, co-founder of Jollie, a mobile app that helps students easily find scholarships for college. The app also helps graduates pay off their student debt at US-based institutions. As a quick reminder, digital marketing refers to the process of using digital channels like your website, search engines, email, and social media to market your business's product or services to consumers. Within digital marketing, you have a variety of tools and methods you can use to strategically target your ideal buyer. There is pay-per-click advertising, which involves paying a search engine like Google, Bing, Yahoo, or DuckDuckGo to display your advertisement whenever users search for specific keywords. Whenever someone clicks on your ad, you'll pay the search engine a set cost depending on how much competition there is for the keywords you choose. Social media marketing involves creating free content and paid ads to promote your business on social media platforms like Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Snapchat, and Twitter. Content marketing involves creating educational and entertaining content like blogs, videos, ebooks, photo galleries, and other online resources that help customers learn about topics related to your business and come to view your business as an authority within your niche. Email marketing involves sending information, content, and offers directly to subscribers of your business's email list. Influencer marketing involves hiring influencers, people or businesses that have a large online following, to promote your products or services to their followers. Mobile advertising involves creating ads that will show up on your target customers' mobile devices as SMS text messages, banners, social ads, and chatbot ads. Search engine optimization, which, as we discussed in Lesson 1, involves optimizing your website to appear on search engine results pages for keywords related to your business. Depending on your target consumer, you may find it more valuable to focus on one or more of these strategies than others. For example, at Jollie, one of the strategies they prioritize is social media marketing because, as Christopher notes, their target audience is young and tends to spend a lot of their time on platforms like Instagram and TikTok. So, how do you build the right digital marketing strategy for your business? Let's look at what Christopher says are some do's and don'ts. When creating a digital marketing strategy for your business, you want to do the following. Create buyer personas. Buyer personas are fictional representations of your ideal customers. You want to think about basic demographic information like their age, geographic location, and income level. You'll also want to consider some of the core questions this type of customer might have about the topics related to your business. Map out the customer journey. There are likely many steps a customer will need to take from their initial contact with your brand to making a purchase. And it's important to know what that journey looks like so that your marketing is relevant to customers at every unique stage. Develop SMART goals. SMART goals are goals that are specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. By creating marketing goals that include each of those characteristics, you make it easier to develop steps towards achieving the goals of your digital marketing strategy. Set a budget. You want to at least have an estimated budget of how much you can spend on digital marketing. Not only will this help you choose the appropriate digital channels, but it's also important to help you calculate the return on investment in the future. Choose your digital marketing strategies. After creating your buyer personas, customer journey, SMART goals, and budget, you'll have enough information to know which digital marketing strategies have the highest potential for success. If you're just starting out, choose a few strategies to master first, and then add in others as your company grows. Analyze results and make improvements. After a set time, it's important to step back and see what is and isn't working. Then you can make more informed decisions when setting new goals and developing future digital marketing campaigns. Now, let's look at what Christopher says to avoid. When creating your digital marketing strategy, you'll want to make sure you don't dismiss customer feedback. Customer feedback, good or bad, should be seen as an opportunity to improve the customer experience and all of your marketing efforts. Rely exclusively on paid advertising. The growth you get from paid ads is temporary and is not suitable for a long-term strategy. So you need to also invest in other forms of marketing, such as content marketing. Try to market to everyone. You can't sell to everyone, and if you don't target your marketing to fit your ideal buyer persona, you risk wasting money and effort on people who may never buy from your business. In the next lesson, we'll look at how, once you've created your digital marketing strategy, you can put it into action and maximize your efforts. For more on this course and to access related resources, visit our website.
All right, so a lot of information again. I'm sure you have a million questions, but I want you to think about something before we hand it over to Miss Jollie, right? How many of you, when you're actually marketing your brand, do you actually sit down and decide, okay, who am I marketing to? What I want this person to do? Who is my target audience? Or are we just posting and hoping that somebody happens to see our ad and comes and buys our product? Or are we targeting and tailoring our ads to specific people? Because I think that's one of the biggest takeaways, at least for me, from the video. Because marketing isn't just about putting content out there. You know, we have to have a strategy behind it. So, Miss Jollie, I want to ask you, when an entrepreneur comes to you and they say, well, Miss Jollie, I posted, I boosted an ad, and again, any results, what's the first thing you're going to look to them to tell them? If you want to share with us.
All right. So, I mean, the first thing I do is actually kind of check out their pages, their social pages. I look at their website, I look at their various social handles, and I do a kind of an audit. And I agree with what you just said there, which is most times entrepreneurs, I shouldn't say most times, but a lot of the times, we tend to not have a strategy, right? We get excited to be online on social media, and so we look at particular things that are trending, and that's the type of content we might want to mimic or put out because we believe that a lot of likes the video going viral is what is going to actually is actually going to help the business grow, right? But the truth is, again, and it goes back to what we mentioned before, which is if you're not clear in terms of your strategy, then your customers and your audience will not be clear. So when you're starting a business, again, it doesn't matter what it is, if you're selling products or services, if you have a cafe, or if you're selling retail clothing, you need to really develop a strategy. And that's the first thing, right? Developing a strategy to say, okay, what is my business all about? Where do I want to go, right? The other major thing that came out in the video as well was to actually identify your ideal customer. Lots of people say, well, okay, I kind of sell into everybody, right? And the truth is you really are not, right? And if you think about when you have to advertise, you really have to target a specific group of people. You have to target a specific age group. You have to target a specific gender, location, interest, and all those things. So the idea is that you really do have to know, well, who is my ideal client? Who is my ideal client for my cafe? Right? Who is my ideal client for a retail clothing store? You might be selling casual clothing. You might be selling corporate clothing. Obviously, those are two different groups of persons, right? A corporate client might be of a specific age group and they're looking for a specific need there, right? And then if you have casual clothing or you have clothing to go to the latest party or fete, then that is also another type of audience and another type of need. So I want to say that the idea of developing a digital strategy really starts with, or developing a digital marketing strategy starts with getting some clarity on your business, who you are, what are the products and services you are offering, but then I guess the core pillar part there is, who is my ideal client? Who am I speaking to? Who are the people who are really kind of coming to buy, right? If you get clear on that, then the whole idea of building out a digital strategy and the messaging becomes a whole lot easier because you know exactly who you are speaking to, right? I don't know if there's any questions in the chat.
So what you're saying is you building your strategy around a specific person you're targeting, right? Because I'm seeing
Yes.
in the chat here, somebody says it is important to build an avatar of your customers. That's great advice. Kamisha is asking, would this also be like choosing the right hashtag on a post? Since we sell candles, we should use one more candle related. What do you think about that?
Yes and no. Hashtags don't have the impact they used to many years ago. It I guess it's most relevant on Instagram. It can help to drive traffic, but yes, you need to, I think more than the hashtags themselves. Someone mentioned ideal customer profile, ideal customer avatar. It's the same as your target audience. It's the same as your target market. We've kind of used different words and they have evolved over time. But more or less, it is identifying groups of customers, right? And again, that doesn't mean you have one group. A company could have several groups, right? Several groups that they are targeting. If for instance, we're talking about a car dealer and they are trying to target, they may have, for instance, they may have persons who are buying a vehicle for the first time. That's a target audience. They may have, a family, a husband and wife team that wants to upgrade, and so they don't have a car anymore, and they're going after, like a SUV, and so they purchasing that. So that's another target audience. There are persons who like trucks and it's a little more rugged. And so that's another audience as well. So you have to be very clear on who is the target audience. And as we say, we use a lot of words. Ideal customer, build your ideal customer, your customer avatar. Those things are very, very important to do in the beginning because it helps us to understand who the customer is and then begin to create the messages after that.
Okay, we have a question from Markley Thomas. If you want to unmute and ask your question, feel free.
Hi, good day, everybody. Thank you, Miss Julie. Right, that is what you just answered there. It's kind of like what I hadn't wanted to ask basically, because it's
Okay.
brought a little confusion into my mind as to because everybody would say have your specific group now. Okay, like for instance, for me, I just started a business well online as well. It's really catering for it could be for the family and also single people. It's a Christian gift shop, inspirational gift shop. So I am doing packages with nice quotes and all these different things. So I was trying to get in my head like who is my avatar, but then I have some products that is coming up that will be really tailored towards like the family and for both single women and men as well, because it's things concerning with your busy schedule, how to help you to remember the things that is important, like the word of God, and to put that into your daily routine. So it was like a little bit confusing for me as to how to narrow it, to bring it together, because I'm thinking, God, I mean, this is something that everybody would need. I don't know how to bridge the gap there as to really find specific avatar. So that is what I was playing with in my head. But as she has explained, you could have more than one target groups that you could
Right.
target. So
You
I
can
think I get it.
have more than, all right, wonderful. And just to expand on that, you can have more than one. But I would advise you to literally write it down because sometimes we have things in our head and we feel we know. You need to write it down and be clear because you just identify a number of groups there. And when you are creating content, you don't want to address all the groups together because everybody has a different need. Because you just mentioned one, which is persons might be busy. I'm a classic example, right? So I want to fit that into my schedule, right? Kind of bad to say, right? You have to fit God into your schedule, right? But you want to fit it into your schedule. But that is a target group that is distinct from family, for instance, right? So you can say, okay, a working professional, a working woman, a working man of a specific age, wanting more connection, wanting that sort of connection with God. And so you have those gifts for them. So when you begin to market to that group, you're targeting that particular audience, okay? That kind of working, busy professional that still wants to have that sort of connection, right? And so that's the messaging. And then you have another group, as you mentioned, families per se. That's another group you can target there. So I would suggest that you write down these specific groups so that you are clearer on who they are and then create messaging around each of those individual groups. Because the next thing a lot of our entrepreneurs do is try to squeeze all that messaging in one piece of content. You could post multiple content for the day, for the week. So there's no need to try to squeeze everything into one piece of video, one piece of, photo and those types of things. So clearly identify the groups and then creates individual messages for each of them. And that will definitely help you in reaching your audience a whole lot better.
Thank you very, very much. You clear up a whole lot for me. Thank you.
No problem.
I seen one more thing in the chat here. Ansel says, what about B2B marketing? If you want to unmute and elaborate a little bit before we move on to the third video, you can. If anybody has other questions.
Yeah, I would love to know what Ansel means about B2B. I know
Yeah, me too.
B2B,
Me too.
but what specifically you want to address with B2B marketing?
Somebody says how to go about B2B marketing.
How to go about B2B marketing? Again, similarly, you have to identify your target audience, right? If you have individual, okay, so for instance, I target both B2B and B2C, and just to clarify for persons on the live here, B2B just means business to business, and B2C means business to customer or business to individual, right? So many of us might be selling to individual users, right? Individuals like you and I who purchase a product or service, or in some instances, we have businesses who will purchase our service as well, right? That's a part of your strategy as well, a part of your overall strategy as a business. It's the same way that you identify a target audience in terms of an individual. You also look at a target audience in terms of a business, right? Who will potentially buy, right? Because for instance, I sell to entrepreneurs, individual entrepreneurs, solo entrepreneurs who may want to build their brand and their digital presence. But I also sell in terms of a B2B space where I also train marketing teams and I train sales teams. So I also reach out to corporations that may have the same need where they don't have a suitable digital media presence, and that they may need that type of help and support. So it is good to look at your business, examine your business and see, okay, am I B2B or B2C or both? Because both could exist. And you will obviously have a different strategy for each of them. And B2B, of course, in many instances can be more lucrative because you are targeting a company, right? Shell is saying what strategies to use. Sometimes speaking to the relevant manager does not mean it's a foot in. Strategies, again, as we kind of looked at in the video, a digital marketing strategy, I think most persons jump on social media, but within the video, they mention so many things. They mention having a website. They mention doing ads. They mention a whole content marketing strategy. You can do podcasts. You can do SEO. And those are online things. DHL, I guess, is mentioning as well, doing some offline things, right? Reaching out to particular persons as well. Ideally, one thing I will say about B2B is that there are specific channels that you can use for B2B, right? So LinkedIn is the top one for B2B because you have CEOs, HR managers, senior executives there. And if you want to reach out to those companies and groups of persons, that is really a platform to begin to build your messaging. So I would definitely say that. Outside of that, I would say to develop a B2B strategy is important in terms of growing your business if the B2B market is yours, right? So yes, you have to reach out to persons, When Deshal mentions to speaking to the relevant manager, we always talk about in sales and marketing, gatekeepers and speaking to the right person. Sometimes we don't speak to the decision maker, right? For instance, if you want to do training and development as a consultant in B2B space, I would think that you have to speak to the HR manager, right? The person or the training manager, the person who is responsible for that, right? There are also groups of persons within our organizations that make decisions. So sometimes it's not just the HR manager, but the HR manager now consults with, okay, CEO perhaps. So you have to understand the organization that you are that you're targeting and know who you have to really reach out to in order to be able to be successful. And again, there isn't one answer. So again, you're creating content on LinkedIn, you're reaching out to them via email, you're reaching out to them perhaps in the LinkedIn DMs. You're making a phone call. It's really again, a total strategy to help you build that business. Seeing some other comments in the chat.
Let me read. Chanel is saying, yes, understanding the behavior of your customer helps with how to market them, understanding what draws them in and what resonates with them. All those are some concepts, psychographics in the nature of customer relations or CRM. So hopefully you can elaborate on that a little bit. And we have one more. So if you want to address that, then we'll take one more question and then we move on to the third video.
All right. She mentioned the demographics. Well, that goes back to your ideal customer, right? Your ideal customer is understanding the demographic and the psychographic and all those things. And I'm glad that you mentioned psychographic because we have traditionally targeted persons like age groups, gender, income, geography, which is all fine. That works okay. But in this time, in 2026, we also have to understand the psychology of people. Why do we buy things? Why do we need to buy an iPhone? Why do we need to buy a certain type of vehicle, right? We buy for different reasons, right? We buy out a need and want. We buy out a status. We buy out of the need to feel a part of a community. We buy to reward ourselves. So yes, the psychology is super important in understanding what the customer wants and building solutions around that, right? So yes, so I think the psychology behind how persons think is super important. Yes.
Okay, one more. Oh, Michaela, hi. Nice to have you here. So she says, I do not have an online business yet, but I was a previous entrepreneurship student who did designing and art, and I would like to start an online business eventually. I think my products would have different target audiences since there would be customization. But the challenges for some young or emerging artists are having the support locally sometimes, like networks. What is some other relevant advice you would have for me as a young artist who would like to market my art for more support digitally?
Oh, so that's a mouthful. And I just had a conversation with another marketer about this, right? At the end of the day, you have to build your community. So you have to begin to build your online community, and you could start it now. And there are lots of different platforms you could build your online community, but more or less you are trying to create a space with people who potentially support you, who will potentially purchase, etc. And you want to create a space to begin to engage with them. And that could be on social media, or that could be in tools like School, right? SKOOL, right? There are different types of community hubs, right? WhatsApp is still that. It's still a community hub. You have Discord. You have a lot of these online spaces, right? But I would also say, as an artist, try to also get into groups that share that are like-minded, right? So people tend to, and again, this is for anybody, yeah? So try to find specific artistic groups online. I would suggest not just locally or regionally, but internationally, so that you could grow your brand, much more broadly. But there are online groups for almost everything. If you are in the baking space, you love baking, there are online groups for that. If you are an entrepreneur, there are women entrepreneur groups, there are male entrepreneur groups, there are groups around mental health, there's groups around education. So begin to create your own community, but also look out and search for like-minded persons like you and join those groups. And don't just join the group, eh? You have to pour into the group. You have to pour into the group, you have to support, and not just look for what is coming back, right? Once you begin to build that kind of online community, that's where it becomes easier to then begin to build your brand and to sell your products and services, right? I hope that helps.
If anybody has any questions, I'm seeing Michaela has her hand up. If you want to unmute and ask your question.
I want to say thank you for your perspective because I had some ideas, and as an artist, I would communicate with other artists abroad. So I would be in certain groups sometimes, but I would also like to, impact others locally and grow to become an entrepreneur, to possess that creativity and just inspire others as well because it could be challenging as an artist, and I have some ideas. I have a lot of ideas to execute. And as Miss Shereesa would know, I actually encountered her business when I was in school. So I was a former Cape student, and I would study her business, and I was inspired by the fact that so many things she was able to accomplish as, a young woman and a young entrepreneur. And that is something, that should be impactful for others, and would totally, recommend her products with how unique it is. So like, as I said, for me, I have a lot of ideas. It's just how to, execute it as, you know, um, a person who studied entrepreneur, and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, things like, my ideas with, being able to reach people who are younger than me, teenagers or even children, even if it's an adult for customization of products and those things. But thank you again.
Thank you so
Right.
much.
Great.
Appreciate that. I would just say to start, Michaela, start to build out your own community. Sometimes we can't wait for the opportunity, but we have to kind of create our own opportunity and navigate those spaces, right? So start with a small group and always seek the feedback, and then you could always build and grow from there.
I'm seeing a lot of talk in the group about on the chat about groups. One group that is really good to join to is the ministers group, the Minister of Trades group on Facebook. I think there are thousands of people in that group. I can't remember the name of it. Shem, if you could unmute and just tell us the name of it, because there's a lot of relevant information on that Facebook group as well for entrepreneurs and different things that we battle in and we try to target. So
Young
that's a really
entrepreneurs.
young entrepreneurs, right? Great. So you all could look at that group as well
Okay.
on Facebook. Yeah. So I want to move on to the third video now, right? If that's it, we have no more questions in the chat. So let's go third video.
And in the groups as well, we have our WhatsApp group, Entrepreneurship Hub WhatsApp group. Always easy to ask questions there.
Welcome to Digital Marketing for Entrepreneurs. This course covers practical ways entrepreneurs can develop and maximize digital marketing for their online businesses. We look at personal branding, best practices for website design, keys to developing a digital marketing strategy, and the best ways to maximize your online marketing using available tools such as social media and search engines. This lesson is maximizing your digital marketing. In this lesson, we'll be looking at how you can maximize your digital marketing strategy using popular tools and tactics, review available digital marketing tools, and how to use them to increase sales. Review best practices for each digital marketing strategy. This course was written by Christopher Gray, co-founder of Jollie, a mobile app that helps students easily find scholarships for college. The app also helps graduates pay off their student debt at US-based institutions. To begin, let's talk about what digital marketing tools are and how you can use them to increase sales. Christopher writes that digital marketing tools are the software marketers use to track, analyze, and automate digital marketing campaigns. When used correctly, they can help you execute your digital marketing strategy so well that you surpass your competitors in sales and customer engagement. Some examples of digital marketing tools that Christopher says you might consider using in your business are content management systems to create, edit, publish, and organize all of your website's content. Customer Relationship Management, CRM, software to manage your business's relationship with customers and clients and ensure they're moving through every stage of your customer journey. Search engine optimization tools to analyze your competitors' website performance, conduct keyword research, monitor and improve your website's performance on search engines, and more. Email marketing tools to plan, analyze, and automate email marketing campaigns. Social media management tools to help you plan, create, publish, analyze, and engage with responses to your business's social media content. Website analytics tools allow you to gain insights on your website's incoming traffic, which pages are receiving the most attention from visitors, and track conversions. Search the internet for the best web analytics tools for options. Christopher notes that you can use any or all of those tools to support your digital marketing strategy, but they don't guarantee automatic success. You'll still need to make sure you're following best practices for each digital strategy. For example, when using social media to promote your business, you'll want to make sure to do things like post on the platforms where your target audience spends the most time. Develop a social media content calendar to ensure you're posting consistently and at times when your audience is online. Focus on creating content that is educational, original, and shareable. Tailor and repurpose your content to fit what your followers expect and enjoy on each social media platform. On the other hand, when using search engines, your approach will differ slightly because you'll also need to conduct keyword research to find the most popular search terms related to your business. Decide which keywords are better targeted with paid ads or organic content. Ensure that you're not only using those keywords in your organic content, but also creating content that matches the keyword search intent. Create relevant and persuasive landing pages for users to go after clicking your paid ads. To maximize your digital marketing strategy, says Christopher, you may also want to experiment with product placement. For example, You may partner with social media influencers who are popular among consumers in your target audience and pay them to feature your products in a series of posts. No matter which of these digital marketing strategies you use, it's important that you're always collecting, tracking, and analyzing data related to customer sales. This is where using a customer relationship management, or CRM, system becomes important. Generally, when choosing a CRM, you'll want to make sure it helps you to easily do things like store, retrieve, and analyze data with custom reports to improve your sales and marketing strategies. Secure and protect your customers' data so that there are no data breaches that could damage trust. Track and target potential customers throughout the customer journey to increase conversions. Automate repetitive parts of your customer relationship management strategy. Christopher advises that there is no single strategy to ensure success with digital marketing. Just like traditional marketing, digital marketing is not a one-time effort. It is a continuous process that you will refine over time. But to begin, you should focus on developing an understanding of your personal brand and target consumers. Be willing to experiment with different digital channels to find the ones best suited for your business, and invest in the right digital tools and tactics to maximize your efforts. For more on this course and to access related resources, visit our website.
All right. So a lot of nice words there. We talked about CRM, we talked about SEOs, analytics, landing pages. So those are a lot of fancy terms, especially for somebody who probably never heard about it before, right? So if we were to kind of strip it down a little bit, what they're really saying here is basically there are different tools that can help us market our businesses. But having the tools doesn't really mean that we're going to get the results. We have to know what we are trying to achieve. So, Miss Jollie, how do we actually decide which digital marketing tool is worth our time? Which one is going to apply to our business? So is it that all applies to our businesses? Because I mean, their strategy abroad might be different for us here. So how do we navigate this? Because I know a lot of us might get overwhelmed when we see all this information.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much for that question. I think we have to examine where we are within our own business to begin with. If you are a startup or a solopreneur, it will be very difficult to take on all these different platforms and different tools. And so the advice that I would give a startup, a new startup or a solopreneur would be different to a company that might be in business for maybe a year and a half. It's about 5 persons on the team, etc. Right? So that's one thing. So I want to not let persons be too overwhelmed by what they have just seen, but that you could start wherever you are, right? And sometimes the lowest hanging fruit to really adopt is actually social media. So you can actually get on these particular platforms. You need to actually do the research to make sure that you know which one fits you best, right? And then you could always add on there, right? I will challenge persons though, because they did mention SEO. We are in a space that is changing dramatically, right? And although the video doesn't go into it as much beyond SEO, now we're talking about AEO and GEO, right? Which is focused now on not just finding you through Google, which is really SEO, but the fact that persons use the ChatGPT and the Gemini and so on. So in fact, let me ask, and persons could maybe put a thumbs up or their hands up. How many persons, if you want to find out something online, you want to find a new product, you want to find a new service, you want to search someone, how many persons are using AI search, meaning that you're going to ChatGPT first. You're going to ChatGPT or Gemini or ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity. It have a few. How many persons are going there? All right. All right. No, somebody say no. All right. A few hands. All right. We have quite a bit of persons on the line. So I feel like people are still maybe going to Google still, right? So that's gonna try. Yes, I would read the AI generated summary in the top of the search engine. Right. Okay, good. All right. So the truth is, people are going more and more to the search engines. I mean, I actually hardly use Google now. It has to be something very specific that I'm going to Google with. I actually go straight to the AI search tools, because again, you can ask very specific questions and of course get very, very specific answers. Whereas if you go to Google, they'll bring up all the websites and you have to go through. So that's the next thing I want to kind of encourage persons as they leave this session, to begin to learn more about showing up in AI search, because that is where it is going now, right? People are searching for you online, and I shouldn't say searching for you specifically, but they're searching for the products and services that you provide. And what you want to have happen is that you show up as the answer when they search it. So if you are selling right now, if you are selling, again, retail clothing or some type of thing, you want to actually, if somebody says, give me a list of, and they go to ChatGPT and they say, give me a list of the top clothing retailers in Trinity, right? You want to be able that whatever ChatGPT spits out, that you are actually on that list. So I encourage persons to kind of begin to think about that, right? How do you show up in the AI search, right? Because that is exactly where we are going right now, right? But to kind of go back to answering the question again, there are many digital tools. It's not really to get overly, not to give you anxiety, but really to start where you are. And always set specific goals for your business so that you could say, okay, in the next 6 months, maybe there's a new platform or a new tool that I want to investigate and I want to add. And then in 6 months, once you have mastered the platforms that you are on, you can then go and then add some additional tools. Because I mean, I've been in full-time entrepreneurship for more than 7 years now, and obviously what I did in year 1, I'm not doing it now, right? I've added many more social platforms. My website is fully optimized. I use SEO. I run particular ads, and I'm trying to build out communities now as well. So you have to actually be strategic and add as you go based on the resources at your disposal in your business. Yes?
We have a question in the chat. It's Lenita. She says, good morning. I recently launched my HR management business, which allows company without a dedicated HR department to outsource professional HR services. However, I have found it challenging to market my services to corporate clients through social media. You have any advice for her?
So are you on LinkedIn? That's one of the first things I would tell you. I would suggest very strongly to go to LinkedIn, because that is the B2B platform. And that is the space where you can ideally reach out to persons, and you could build content there, right? You could build content there that will be, the eyeballs will really be CEOs, executives, HR managers, project managers. It'll be people more in your ecosystem than Instagram or TikTok, etc., right? That's one. You actually can, and you could get more information there, right? The way LinkedIn is built up is that it's built around personal brands. So you can see particular individuals, the places they have worked, right? So you could see their work history. You can get a better idea if particular companies are your ideal client. You can begin to reach out there, and you could build relationships there, and that's where you could begin to grow your brand. And I could tell you in this space, LinkedIn accounts for more than 50% of my business, right? I've been using that platform, right through, and I will get inquiries that come through that particular platform on a regular basis. So if you are looking at B2B, it is a platform, but again, you must have a strategy there. I would say you have to create content. You have to be very visible there. You have to be, you must have a strategy about connecting with the right people, and then, of course, reaching out to them. I do a lot of outreach there and ask persons to to have a chat on Zoom. And we have a chat on Zoom, and it may or may not lead to things. It might lead to a referral. You never know where that goes. But LinkedIn is a platform I recommend for persons who are looking at the B2B space. And if you said HR, that platform originally actually was a recruiter's platform. And maybe there's a misconception why persons don't go there, right? But it was originally an HR platform for recruiters. And then it evolved into this whole B2B space where it has marketers and salespeople and lots of different types of professionals. But there's still a huge HR community there. So that is an excellent space. If you're not there, to be there. And if you are there, you might have to develop a strategy to kind of work it a little bit, right? I hope that helps.
We have another question. Martley says, as a solo entrepreneur just started, do I need a website? No, I only started in May 2026.
You don't need a website right away, but the video did say make sure and protect your domain. So if you do have an idea, if you have a name for your business already, or your name, remember your domain name, right? The www.whatever.com. You can actually purchase that, right? And it tends to not be too expensive, right? It might be like it might be like anywhere between $5 to maybe about $30 max. I've seen domain names for, right? I would suggest to purchase your domain name and keep your domain name. I think you could purchase your domain name for at least a year or even up to 3 years before it has to be renewed. So I would say to do that first, right? The truth is there are lots of tools now. You could build it yourself. You could get somebody to build it. But I would say that again, it is dependent on you and your resources, right? Now, and where your audience is going, right? A lot of the data says that when people come to your social profiles, they'll actually go and look for your website. So it is important to build that as part of your total kind of digital marketing ecosystem. If it's within your purview, you could go ahead. If not, you need to put it into into a strategy at some point in time, at least in the next year or so, right? And also to remember, you could build one pagers, eh? I am going to kind of revamp mine next year. I've kind of been adding and fixing and changing and those things, and it's not quite as what I would like it to be, but it works. So I would actually I would say search, get your domain name, pay for your domain name so that you could protect that part of your IP, and maybe put it in part of your strategy at least for the next year, right? Research, find out how much it costs for somebody to build your website, find out if you could build your website. You can do one page landing pages alone right now. And so that could serve you for the time. And then you could put more time and energy into it, right? But people do, part of building authority online is having a website. So people don't just want to see your social media pages, they actually go to your website. So it is it needs to be a part of your long-term game.
We have a question from Natalie. She says, how to best receive payments from selling to customers online? Is it PayPal or some other financial services? I actually told her PayPal, WePay, and Cash is good. If you have any that you could recommend as well.
All those things work. The different banks and financial institutions have their different platforms too that they might endorse and use, like Stripe and so on. If you're going more regionally as well, you can look at getting like a Payoneer card, right? You can look at Wise cards. You can look at Sendana now. Those are to be able to receive US payments, and you could get a card, right? Like a debit credit card, so that your money is on your card and those things work, right? So actually in the last year or so, although we've had a lot of difficulty with that online payment and receiving it, I think we're in a better space now where we have a lot of options as digital entrepreneurs, right? So I'll just put in those in the chat I mentioned, right? Right, yep.
Great. If anybody has any other questions. Does it have any working apps to receive card payments using your phone? So I told him Color is good because I use Color sometimes when I do have my Links machine. The Color app helps you to turn your phone into a Links machine.
Okay, right, okay.
Yeah, if you have any other suggestions of apps that do that, I'm only familiar with Color.
I'm not familiar. Yeah, I can't think of any offhand, no.
Color is free. Yeah.
Okay, someone says WAM does it. So WAM is fairly new. So yes, you could check out WAM too.
Right. Okay, somebody is asking, how do I receive payments in USD on my website?
Well, you can use PayPal as well, right? You can use PayPal and that connects to your credit card. I'm trying to think of any others that might be that Caribbean. The PayPal is the easiest one that I know. And
Wise is good too. I have a Wise. So I saw you put it in the suggestions here as well.
Yes, yeah.
You create a Wise account and it gives you like a virtual US address.
Right. Actually, Payoneer too gives you, like, if you have products, it gives you a link as well too. So yes, actually, you could set up your digital product on Payoneer. It gives you a link, and then you could embed that link into your website. And so that persons could pay directly onto that, and they pay, and you get it. Of course, you get all the notifications via email, etc. And any other questions there?
I'm
I don't
looking
know.
to see, I'm looking to see
Yeah.
if there's any other question I missed anything. But if anybody wants to unmute and ask in case we missed your question. How does it work exactly on color for links? As it does in links payments, right? So Miss Jollie, I don't know if you're familiar with links, with color and you want to share, or if you want me to share, because I use it all the time.
Okay, no,
or
go.
payments, yeah.
I just familiar with it, but I don't use it. I don't use it.
Oh, okay. So how color works is you have to have a WePay account. You could have a WePay business account, but color hasn't been established for business. WePay is not established for links yet. So you have to create a personal WePay account, download the color app. So once your WePay account gets approved, you have the color app, you go on the color app, you make sure NFC, the setting on your phone is enabled, and then you'll get the option of tap to pay. So the customer literally taps their card at the back of your phone, and the three numbers at the back of your card, they just put it in and the payment goes through instantly. And you get the receipt and you can send the receipt to the customer. They do charge, I think, 2.5% per transaction, which is not bad. You have the option to absorb the cost. You could split it half with your customer, or you could have your customer absorb the cost. I don't do that because I know some people, they wouldn't want to do that. But that's also an option in case you do have a links machine. But I will recommend that everybody does get a links machine when you decide, or when you register your business, you apply for one. But in the meantime, color is really good. Nadia, you have your hand raised if you want to unmute.
Yes, I specifically want to find out about the color. Would it be in the US we would be getting payments or TT dollars? Or is there option for US payments?
Well, from what I've seen is TT payment, so it goes straight into your WePay account, and then you have the option to go into your WePay account and cash out the money straight into your bank account.
Okay.
But do you know, like when people have websites and selling the products, which avenue they use? Because there's a burning question I have for the longest while to get the US payments that, I mean, like it could stay in that account and they could now transfer money from that account to pay others or to their account in Trinidad. Do you know any way how you could do that? Because,
So
we need the US to purchase goods and services as well.
yeah, but what do you want to do? You want to receive US and then send it to your TT account?
No, I want my clients to pay me in the US with their local credit card, right? Because remember, you could go on Amazon and so on and swipe your credit card for whatever amount of US you're allowed, right? So pay me in US. And when they pay me in the US, it stays in the account in the US. And I could now use this US to do my transactions that I need to.
You could use the same ones I mentioned there. Payoneer, Wise,
PayPal.
PayPal, yes, PayPal, you could connect it. Payoneer, Wise, Sendana, all those, I believe, give you the option to have a debit credit card, in which case you have a debit credit. You can have a digital version or you could get a physical one. And then you more or less you have US on your card, and then you could use that to purchase online.
Hey guys, Shem here. Just stepping in a bit. Two things. This has been a bit, let me just Yes, this has been one of the biggest challenges that the hub has been addressing or seeking to address, and is a challenge facing all of us micro entrepreneurs. Right. I don't think it's to be addressed within this session on digital marketing, but it is a concern. Even the suggestions of Wise, Payoneer, we have heard some persons say they get through, and some persons say they need a US address in order to work. So these are the things that we as a hub need to get together and find a solution. However, you're right, this needs another forum, another session to be addressed clearly and specifically, but perhaps not in this digital marketing session.
We have a question from Terrence and then Denise. So yeah, Terrence, you could go ahead.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Concerning the question that she asked yesterday about getting US currency, it have other option. What I do, my business, I receive cryptocurrency payments in USDT, whereas Amazon and all these places accepting the USDT cryptocurrencies. So that is another option to be able to get US currency for your business. And when you're purchasing goods and services for your business, it has a lot of American companies accepting the USDT. So that is our next option for if you're trying to explore the international market with your business.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. My contribution is that I recently encountered someone who was trying to get payment in US locally for a course that was being offered. And the person who potentially was going to purchase the product refused because they have a credit card and know that the problem with Forex, know of the problems with Forex here. So they were unwilling to pay in US dollars. And I think that that is a chance you take when you're insisting on US dollar payment from locals in particular. You could lose the client altogether. So it's just a little caution. I think that the person, you should have the opportunity to pay locally or in US dollars, but this particular marketer wanted US dollars only for the local course.
Guys, thanks for all the input on this little segment. We had like a little part to get some questions in, but I want to redirect us back into the digital marketing. Yes, payment is very important, but I think in like the upcoming courses, we might target that a little more. When you come to the Entrepreneurship Forum, we'll touch on that a lot. So I welcome you all to mark your calendars for October 14th. So we'll be going to touch on that a lot more. But we do have a quiz at the end of the course. If you all want to attempt the quiz on your own, you can go to the website. The URL is on the page there, and you could attempt the quiz on your own. We'll do it together as well, and you put in your information and get your certificate. So you do get a certificate after you finish the course, and you can add it to your LinkedIn. I did it last night, and I put it on my LinkedIn. So I welcome you to do the same. So let's run through the questions. I think it's about 15 questions. So the first question is, traditional but not digital forms of marketing involve creating, communicating, delivering, and exchanging offerings that have value for customers, clients, partners, and society at large. Is this true or false? Anybody?
False.
We all take. Is it true? Is it false? I've seen some trues. I've seen some false. See, the chat is mostly saying true. All right. When creating your personal brand, you want to make sure that it is. Which option you think it is? Because we covered this in the course.
True.
Somebody's saying C. Okay. Let's go with C then. When building your website, this should be on every page, including your About Us page, your contact page, your testimonials, reviews, descriptions, your products, your services. Is it design, content, domain name, URL, products, or all of the above? Now keep in mind, this is what you want on each page of your website. Somebody's saying product. No, somebody's saying domain name. Somebody's saying all of the above. All right, everybody's saying all of the above. Your target audience uses these to search for topics related to your business. Is it search engine, domain name, website, keywords, or descriptions? All right, somebody's saying keywords. Somebody's saying search engines. Somebody's saying, all right, so the keywords have it. Yes. You can optimize your website for search engines by using keywords in your website. Is it URL, page title, image description, meta descriptions, or all of the above? All right, somebody says all of the above. Within digital marketing, you have a variety of tools and methods you could use to strategically target your ideal buyer. This type of marketing involves creating free content and paid ads to promote your business on social media platforms like Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter. Which is it? Is it traditional, email, social media, digital, all of the above? All right, somebody say social media. All right, let's go with social media. Something marketing involves hiring people or businesses that have a large online following to promote products or services to their followers. Is it influencers, social media, traditional, emails, all of the above? What do we see in here? Influencer, okay. When creating a digital marketing strategy for your business, it is important to map out the customer journey so that your marketing is relevant to customers at every unique stage. Is this true or false? All right, true. By creating marketing goals, wait, scroll up right. By creating marketing goals that include each of these characteristics, you make it easier to develop steps towards achieving your goals of your digital marketing strategy. Which is it? We spoke about this. Let me see if you remember. Is it specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, timely, or all of the above?
All of the above.
Lovely. Digital marketing allows you to market to everyone and doesn't require you to target your market to fit your ideal buyer persona. Is that true or false? All right, you guys say false. Let's put false. Digital marketing tools are the software marketers use to track, analyze, and automate digital marketing campaigns. Is that true or false? True, all right. This tool allows you to manage your business relationship with customers and clients to ensure they are moving through every stage of your customer journey. Is it social media management tools? Is it customer relationship management? Is it search engine optimization tools? Is it website analytics? Or is it all of the above? Let's see. All right, all of the above. Somebody's saying CRM. The rest is saying all of the above. All right, let's go all of the above. This tool allows you to create, edit, publish, and organize all of your website's content. Is it email marketing, social media management tools, SEO tools, content management systems, or all of the above? So think about it, right? Organize all of your website's content. All right, CMS, let's go, CMS. When using social media to promote your business, you want to make sure to tailor and repurpose content to fit what your followers expect and enjoy on social media. Is that true or false? All right, somebody say true. Partnering with social media influencers who are popular among consumers in your target audience and paying them to feature your products is referred to as, is it product placement, advertising, customer relationship management, email marketing, or all of the above? Let's see. Somebody says A, somebody says advertising, somebody says all. Anybody else? Somebody says product placement, somebody says advertising. Okay. So we have a whole set of different answers, but the majority of people are saying advertising. All right, let's put advertising and see what comes up. So we submit to get our certificate. They're going to tell you if you have any wrong or right. Let's see how you guys did. We got 4 wrong. So let's see what we got wrong. So we'll work our way back down. So the first one, traditional but not digital. And I think a lot of people miss that part. Traditional but not digital. The answer is false. Number 3, when building your website, this should be on every page. We don't need the products on every page. When you land on somebody's website, you don't need the products to hit you in your face immediately. We don't need to see the domain name all the time because we already know what website we're going on. But what we do want to see on every page is content, some sort of content we want to see. So the answer for number 3 is content, right? Let's go again. What else we got wrong? Number 12. This tool allows you to manage your business relationship with your customers and clients and ensure they're moving through every stage of the journey, right? So the answer would be your customer relationship management. That is a key tool in understanding how your customer, because we don't need website analytics exactly. We don't need SEOs to understand how our customer is how our relations with our customer work, right? And then I think we got one more wrong. Yes, this one. So the answer for this one, now it could be advertising, but they don't call it that because in the video, if you watch the video, we call it product placement. Product placement is what we use in order to get influencers to market our products, right? So let's try again. Let me see if we get it right. Yeah, right. And this is what you do when you get to the last page, you put in all the information. So we're going to put the Entrepreneurship Hub, right? And then you put in your, I think they ask for your email, so they'll email it to you. They ask for your address and you submit and they're gonna email you your certificate. And from the email, you can actually use the link there and link it to your LinkedIn profile immediately. Yes, so the link will be shared in the chat. We're gonna put it in the WhatsApp group as well. Let me just post back the WhatsApp group. I welcome you all to join the Ehub WhatsApp group. It's a world of information. We have different groups. So there's the friendly group where you could advertise your business. There's the community group where we post announcements on all the different upcoming free courses or any events that is happening. Any information that people want to ask, you could ask in the chat. Right. So you see the process here, how to fill out the last page. This is the yli.state.gov website. And there is a lot of free courses. So in the small business workshop, we cover some of these courses because we think it's better, you know, when we do it together rather than you sit and you look at the videos by yourself. We invite guest speakers like Miss Jollie to come and really elaborate on things and see how we could apply it here in Trinidad. Can you be 35 and over? Oh yes, all is welcome in the group, even for the courses, all ages. All right. Any other questions in the group? Right. So we go now, you check your email and you'll see that the certificate appears in your email and you can download it from there, anything you want to do. Right. So guys, that brings us to the end. We welcome you to try to do the course on your own. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out in the Ehub group chat. And I want to extend the invite to you all to join us at the Entrepreneurship Forum. It is happening on October 14th, and this year it is in South Sapa. If you don't know where that is, you could find it on maps. It's right by Cross. And the cost is $250. But I wouldn't call it a course, I'll call it an investment because you are investing in yourself. I've been to the past 2 years, and it is amazing. You leave there mind blown. So I really welcome you all. If you want to start to pass out a little money and attend the forum, right? It's going to be an entire day of just people coming and just pouring into you. And the amount of information you have after, you can leave and really apply it to your business. This that we did today is going to be this plus tenfold, right? So I welcome you all to join us for the Entrepreneurship Forum. Look out for more courses coming up. Join the Entrepreneurship Hub group, right? The knowledge is endless. So I want to thank Miss Jollie for your time, for being here with us, for putting up with all the million questions I asked you before, answering all the questions that we had in the group. Again, if anybody has any questions that we didn't cover, you want to ask in the group, feel free to do so. I will drop my info in the chat as well. If you want to reach out to ask more information about color, we could do that. I actually want to talk to Shem about if we could do a session on that to help you guys, because I know a lot of people do have links machines. So Shem, if you want to add anything, if anybody wants to add anything, please feel free. That brings us to the end.
Thank you very much, Shereesa. I was actually wondering, let's stop sharing. Right. Yes, so I've great interest in payments. And we too have a great interest in payments. I don't know if anyone else who's still on the chat and actually wants to chat about it. Still free, feel free to stay on for just a little bit. Or if it is we need to have another session specifically. But now that we call an end to the digital marketing, I definitely have some questions, challenges, and we need to forge a path forward with respect to the digital payments, right, that micro entrepreneurs face, right? So I'm going to tell you my what I've observed, and this is doing research as the hub, right? And for those not there from the beginning, my name is Shem. One of the co-founders of the hub. So we kind of run around and always kind of try to seek the interest of the hub, which is really up for micro entrepreneurs for most of the time. Right. So with respect to the payments, we would have asked a number of entities about if they have a solution, right? And the specific solution that we were interested in was accepting US payments. So last year, the forum, the theme of the forum was diversification from the grassroots. And the rationale for it was, well, especially time, was Trinidad's economy is being hurt by the waning of the petrochemical sector. So there are less US income from that sector, and therefore less foreign exchange. And then they start curtailing our credit cards, right? So now we micro entrepreneurs feel squeezed when we are no longer able to, say, buy a piece of equipment that might be past our credit card limit. So for example, in my case, I want to buy a camera, and a really good camera might cost, let's say, 3,000 US. Oops, I can't anymore, right? And in last year's forum, we got Unit Trust Corporation to come because they had part of the solution, right? Which was a credit card, which is a US Visa debit card, right? So if you could get US, you could start amassing it on their card, and there with two benefits. One, they get the much better returns of interest, right? And you now have a card which you could spend. And I just want to send my card. Let's see. Yeah. I won't show the card number. So I'm going to book from the back here. Right? So normal card. Maybe I should show the card. Anyway, a card like this. And I've tested it. I've went to the US, and when I should swiped it in one of the machines and it worked. I was able to buy a chocolate, right? And then I came back to Trinidad and I had a piece of equipment that I needed to buy, and it was more than the USD credit card limit for my First Citizens Bank card, and I was able to purchase it. So their limits 5,000 US a day, right? So that was the spending side of it. There's a solution. Of course, there is the earning. This card again is a unit trust corporation. You have US debit card, right? So I've seen some comments. I love it. So let's say I do have a US UTC, but it's difficult to have a customer to pay. Yes, no, they are not a bank, so they are only half of that solution. They are really a trust. They are where you put your money in to get more returns in, specifically 3%, around 3% per annum, right? Which is way better than the bank. If you have money stockpiled in the bank, do not do it. By banks, I mean Versus and Royal Bank. Those are like banks that they are very good at day-to-day interactions. But unit trust is a trust. They're not a bank. Different from a bank. They're not good at day-to-day transactions, but they're great at holding your money. But one of the benefits of holding your money there is that they give you a card so that you can access your money. And if you're holding your US capital there, they give you a US card to access your money. And you could access up to 5,000 US a day. So again, that is part of the solution. The next part is how we earning this USD. All right, so this is some feedback from the research. I've in the UK, there is a Montserratian national who is building an app for the US. So it is Sarah. Sarah is the name of the app in Montserrat. And it's a peer-to-peer payment platform. But because he's in UK, he is trying to get the right to repatriate money from the UK to Montserrat. Right? And as you know, Montserratians are UK nationals, they're connected because they didn't get independence, something like that. Right? But in order for him to do that, he has to get a license, a financial license from the UK to be able to repatriate, send money from the UK to Montserrat. So it's not like he could create an app and send money back, right? And I think that's a challenge that Trinidadian apps face because when we spoke to entities like Paywise, right? Yes, they allow for transactions from peer to peer, but they don't allow for someone from America to pay you in USD, right? So if it is that the only solution that I'm aware of, right, that allows someone to pay you into a somewhat of your local bank account, right, is WePay, right? So how we get accept money from WePay is that persons will pay WePay US, and then WePay would transfer that US to our US bank account. Good. So that is one part. More research we are doing now. Now, if you looked recently, Karen Rose would have posted an article on how to accept money from the US, and he would have mentioned the USDT, right, and converting between USDT and the US, right, and can we call all these steps? If someone is more familiar with the process, please jump on and state it. The concern somewhere in there, the concern not certain about it totally, which I need your input in as the hub because you all have more eyes than I, right? Is when now, like person say if you have a Wise, like get a Wise account or get a Pioneer account. When we attempted to do so recently, right? There's a request for a US address, right? So in order to get those accounts, right? Even Pioneer was saying they're no longer accepting Trinidadian accounts recently. So in the past, persons would have gotten Wise cards and gotten these accounts and were able to accept money directly to those accounts and able to use those accounts, right? Additionally, for consideration, there's a bigger issue, which is the reason why we all are being curtailed or hurt by the foreign exchange limits is that essentially the banks or the central bank doesn't have access to US within Trinidad and Tobago. If it is that we store our monies externally, right, in Wise accounts or PNA accounts, essentially that means we are storing our monies in America. And Trinidad won't have the foreign exchange. And if Trinidad doesn't have the Forex, then the curtailments, we're going to keep on feeling them. That being said, you're a business and a business must run. And I need to buy my cameras. And currently, the only option I'm seeing is actually sign up a business in the States, right? So we do collaborate with the US Embassy, and we did get a chance to ask their political economic affairs officer, Jeff, and we said, Jeff, there's a challenge we have in, man. And the solution being provided is set up a US account in America. What is your thoughts on this? And his response was, that might be so good for Trinidad,
but it's great for us. Go ahead. So, right? I just said that is a solution. You as a business, set up an account, a LLC in the States, and then you get a card automatically. And this card, just by very nature of being in America, is an unlimited card. Just like you have a Lynx card here in Trinidad, there's no limit. There's no limit because you exist in America legally. All right. I think that is my inputs. I'm going to read some stuff here. Claire says, very cool. When my husband signed up for his Wise account, he uses Canadian e-zone address. Yes, some persons, by nature of diaspora, aunts, uncles, the past work life, they have these addresses and they get through, right? Joanne, asking please, as an aside, is it only our country within the Caribbean that's having the problem with the US? Excellent question. Excellent. I had the chance to travel in this last year to Bahamas and Barbados. And they don't have problem with the US. But why? Because their countries are very tourist oriented. So that's a major source of income. So they happily and very easily accept US. Even the taxi person, you can either pay him in US or pay him in Bajan. Is 2 to 1. So and he goes either it's like this. Bahamas, pretty much the US across it's 1 to 1 in Bahamas. So their economy is different. And therefore they don't feel the pain. Remember our main source of the US in Trinidad is or was, well, it still is the petrochemical industry. And therefore the route that US travels through is really those companies, they pay the banks, and the banks pay the employees in TT. But the banks now have access to foreign exchange. Cool. Let's see. More inputs here. Can you use a Skybox US address? Yes, but that's different. Skybox is like you're just gonna accept shipments. All right, link to question. Do you need a US address for LLC in US? No. There are entities like Start Global that would set you up. All right. I use my PayPal account that was linked to my Scotia credit card to transfer funds. But recently, Scotia stopped this facility. Now I have funds stuck in the PayPal account. Shamila, we have similar issues. We have used to collect PayPal, allow persons to pay to PayPal. We bank with First Citizens Bank, right? And like last year, they said, hey, you could only transfer up to $250 a month. That's right? 250? Yeah, you could only convert 250 US per month. And they charge you on top of that. Ridiculous. All right. St. Martin is a 1400 US daily. Janelle, what limit is that? Is that which card is that? And what limit is that? Janelle Roberts. Okay, and so Sherilyn attach a PayPal to US account and she going guns. That's why she have no problem. So you see, I hope this is for a better appreciation of the challenge. And I mean, if you find a solution, please, but in all, we as a hub, the 2,000 plus of us need to say, hey, we need to find a solution, and how could the banks help us here, right? And in a sense, the question was asked spot on within the session, is how do we accept payments from the World Wide Web, right? The world, how can we accept that US as a micro entrepreneur here in Trinidad? There's First Atlantic, that's for websites, but that is like they might hold the money and then send to a US account, and then they might have a time delay in that transaction that might be difficult. And even if it does come to your US account, right, then the challenge is now how do you access it? But again, we have that solution, which is the unit trust cards. Right? Okay. Any questions, anyone? Thoughts?
Yeah.
Is anyone successfully and very easily accepting US, being able to charge a US easily? All right. Doesn't look like that. And yes, we would Shereesa. Shereesa has the experience with the color app. Shereesa is asking about the color app.
Yeah, so for color, the last I spoke to them was I think a couple months back. They have not developed color for business WePay yet. So you have to set up a personal WePay and then link it to the color app. That's it. And then once the account is approved, you could go ahead and use the color app. I'm gonna pull it up and I'll show you what it looks like. So like when you open the color app, oh gosh, where's my camera? So you'll see
Now pull it closer to your face, Shereesa.
oh please. Right. It's still you know what? I'm gonna send you it and you'll put it in the chat. But you'll see the options for if you want to send the QR code to the customer, if you want them to scan directly on your phone, if you want to invoice them, they could pay you through the invoice. I think is really convenient, especially if you do have a links machine. But all that to say, yes, you have to have a personal WePay. I will reach back out to the guy again and ask them because they are trying to develop it for business. But you could have the business WePay because all the money would still be stored there and you could transfer it out to any of your accounts after. So it's great if you have like pop-up shops and if you have 2 events and one and you only have one links machine, it's an option to have. I'm not familiar with the other one that Miss Jollie talked about. But I have been using color for like a couple of years and I've never had a problem with them.
Shereesa, Kimberly here.
Hi, Kimberly.
How do I get to do the quiz, please?
Oh, so you go on the YLI website. I'm gonna paste the link in the chat and you could see all the different courses and you just click on digital marketing for entrepreneurs. So Shem, if you could share your screen and show them.
I am seeing the digital marketing for entrepreneurs, but I'm only seeing take the lesson options and no quiz options.
Yeah, because we went through the quiz, not you. I went through lesson.
Okay, so then do all the lessons there, and then the quiz will open up.
Correct.
Sure, yeah.
Correct.
You could just step through since you're here and you just step through.
But I think if there's the option, you don't have to click 1, 2, 3. I think you could click directly on quiz.
Yeah,
I feel you might be able to do that.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Yeah, see these three things here? Next lesson, next, and just click next lesson here. And I'll go to the quiz.
All right, thanks.
Yeah. Let's see anything else. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Thank you,
Wait, let me
Shereesa,
send the link. I'm gonna
Sure.
put the link in the chat for the courses. Yeah, so as you can see, there's a lot of courses that you could try, but I think Shem, we have other sessions coming up, or is it we cap it at 3?
Not every month. Every month we want to do one of these sessions.
Right, great. Well, we'll be here. So right.
Yeah. And I love and I'll always message us and see what your concerns are so we know where to direct these
Somebody's
courses.
saying, I have a suggestion, a separate session to assist with the financial part. Maybe you could get Karen Rose to do a session with us to share his experience.
Suggestion accepted, Nick. Thank you for that.
Maybe you could reach out to him for the forum as well.
Good idea. We'll take that down into consideration.
I think I have his contact, I feel I'll reach out to him, I'll let you know.
Thank you. Any other burning topics that you guys have on your mind that you want addressed at the forum? yes, the forum is in person. We want to see you. We want to see what Shereesa looks like. And if that is it, bye-bye, everybody. Go back. I'm going back to work now.
Bye, guys. Thanks for joining us. We hope to see you at the
And
next
thank
one.
you very much, Debbie.
Yes, Miss Jollie, it was very, very informative. Somebody says, when is the forum? The forum is the 14th of October in Sapa.
Does the government have data on where there are gaps in the biz, Nick? Sorry, I'm missing the question. Nick, you could clarify? Advice. Bye.